guilty of crime.
All right, guys. Hello, this is Jay with Guilty of Crime, and I'm just trying to check my microphone. So, you guys, everybody, let me know if you can hear me okay before I start talking. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, get a membership if you can. Hello, everybody. It's so good to see you guys again in a much more low key setting. Although, this stuff never ends, y'all. This stuff never ends. I just got off the phone with somebody, and of course I can't say their name, but I love getting information, and I love people that want to see Jenn Soto go down. Now, this is not somebody that wants to see Jenn Soto go down just because they don't like her. This is somebody that wants to see Jenn go down because they're in her circle and they see that Jenn Soto didn't do anything. Nothing that Jenn Soto said she did or anybody said that she didn't do. I did not realize this. And yes, arrest Jenn Soto now. I'm going to get the text messages later on. I'm going to put something together for you guys. I'm doing well today. Good to see everybody. Hope you guys had a good live yesterday. It was crazy. I was like, go. And I'm doing my phone. I'm doing this. And I'm trying to, my God. Now, let me just finish my thoughts. So Jenn Soto, hashtag arrest Jenn Soto, by the way, didn't do anything, come to find out. First of all, I thought she never went to any funerals, and I was told different. I was told that Jenn Soto did, in fact, attend the private funeral for Madeline Soto. And I got to tell you, now I know she did not, in fact, attend any of the funerals. There was a small funeral that had Yolanda and Stephanie and all the little family members of the Sotos, and Jenn did not go. Now, Yolanda was crying her eyes out, and so was the family. There was also people that were printing out 5,000 flyers on day one, folks. 5,000 flyers on day one, while Jenn sat at home with Stefan and didn't do a thing. As a matter of fact, when those people called Jenn Soto to give updates about Maddie, Jenn Soto said, I don't want to talk to anybody. You guys reach out to my family instead. So there you go. Day one, Jenn Soto, in my opinion, for those of you that for yesterday, the people that are like, oh, this channel is, don't state it like it's a fact. Say, in my opinion, all right? So this is my opinion, my channel, that Jenn Soto didn't do anything at all. She didn't pass out flyers. She didn't even call the news, you guys. Somebody else called the news, and they called every news station in Florida. That was the only one that would pick up. They have text messages of everything, and Jenn opted to sit in the house with Stefan. So Jenn didn't do a thing, guys. And don't let Jenn fool you that she was sitting in line for an hour and a half waiting for Maddie. In my opinion, she only did that to create herself an alibi. Now, I didn't know that Jenn didn't attend the small service with the immediate family, but she didn't. She, in fact, didn't. I just got off the phone with somebody that was at that private service and said everyone was crying their eyes out, and Jenn Soto wasn't there. She wasn't there for anything. As a matter of fact, that potato didn't go to anything, didn't express any emotion the entire time, even behind the scenes, you guys. And a matter of fact, she almost sat back and let people just pamper her while she was at home. People were offering her to get services sent to the house, food, and Jenn Soto sat there medicated like a couch potato. So she did nothing. I'll have more to come, but I do think now, and I will find out. I got to tell you, I don't think that she went into a mental hospital after the fact. I think she went straight to Stephanie's house, which is where she is now, guys. I got to tell you. So, that being said, I don't think that she was really that stressed out, in my opinion, because she didn't go check herself into that. I think that may have been a rumor from past things, from past instances, and she wasn't really that stressed out because she knew what was going on the whole time. Yeah, Jenn the siesta human potato. Of course she did. Then she got high. I was gonna go check myself into a hospital, but I got high. Then I got high, right, guys? So yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, people are mad, right? People in Florida are pissed, you guys. They're seeing this stuff coming out, and they're like, "Why is Jenn sitting out enjoying life? Even if she's not enjoying it that much, I bet you she's still getting her medication." All right, so you guys do me a favor. What's up, Veronica Villanova? Good to see you, my friend. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome, everybody. Today is perfect timing for me to have that conversation. How to spot fake emotions of Jenn Soto, guys. And I finally am going to break down the Maddie's death report, the FDLE, and I've got some pretty shocking notes on it as well. I'm going to talk about the motion to suppress. We're going to talk about that quickly after we're done with the FDLE. Basically, you guys, I'll show you the paperwork if you haven't seen. Stephen Stern's defense is claiming there's new evidence that may impact the presentation of the evidence from his cell phone. So the reason they're asking to suppress it, and I'm giving you 1,000-foot overview, the reason they want to suppress it is because they need more time to develop the new evidence that's supposedly going to be presented in trial. Again, if that's granted, it's going to push back the trial, which is what I've been saying, guys. Now, this could be a stall tactic, but it also could be something that they really want to present. There could be some evidence. Stephen could have something. They could have thought of something. The defense could have. We still haven't heard anything about Jenn Soto yet. We've heard phone calls, but guys, those phone calls are old, right? So yesterday when we're talking and we're doing the interview with, Stephen's parents, there's a lot that's gone on, guys. There's a whole lot that's gone on since those phone calls up until now, right? So thank you, Leanne, for being a member for 5 months. I appreciate you. I hope there's a state modified their witness list last week. Good. I don't know if I've seen the witness list yet, but One Love Revolutionary, we're going to talk about the evidence. We don't know what evidence it is yet, but I'm telling you right now, that trial is not happening probably in 2025, in my opinion. I don't think so. I think a trial of this magnitude just isn't going to happen, guys. It just isn't. So, that being said, anybody that needs to email me, please do guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com. Let's save anything about prizes or shirts or hoodies or any of that for after the show. One person that just Foxy, I sent you an email. Teresa still didn't get the hoodie from December, and I thought you sent her a Foxy box. So if you can take care of that, we'll keep all the prizes and all the stuff after the show. I think the first thing we should get into is how to spot fake emotions with Jenn Soto. And I mean, even more so now hearing she never did anything. She didn't even want the news station to spread the word about Madeline Soto because, in my opinion, she already knew where Maddie was, guys. All right, no. Yeah, Jen didn't go to Maddie's birthday party or her funeral. She didn't go to her vigil. She didn't go to anything. So I gave her a small bit of credit when I thought she went to the funeral where her family was bawling their eyes out, guys. But now I don't think she went to anything. As a matter of fact, I know she didn't because the person that I just talked to on the phone, that's why I was late, was because they're so upset and they'd love to talk to the police, but they don't want to be intertwined with the case. And they're friends of the Soto family. They're intertwined, guys. So when you're intertwined with the families, you can't just freely do those things and go take depositions. Yeah, Melissa Marvelous, she did not go to that funeral. That was private for the family. All right. So what's up, the Off-White Lotus? You changed your name. I thought Jen's going on OnlyFans seeking donkey gums fetish. That's so funny. Yeah, I didn't realize she didn't go either. I thought she at least went to the private funeral where she could use the excuse, I don't want to get attacked. All right. But, all right, I guess not. In the beginning, I think she actually hated Maddie. Well, I think now, after hearing everything I have, I think she was really jealous of Maddie and Stefan's. I can't call it a relationship, but in Maddie's world, let's think of Naziah Harris and how Naziah felt about her abuser. That's what I'm going to say about that. When you groom a kid so much and your parent doesn't do anything and the person abusing you makes it common, guys. And yeah, we didn't even talk about the GoFundMe either, Ashton. That GoFundMe that was collected went to Jenn Soto. All right. Actually, Stephanie Soto put her name on that. So I don't know where Stephanie put it, but it sure didn't go to the funeral, guys. Thank you so much, Leanne Wilson, for the 5 guilty of crime memberships. That being said, thank you, Suzanne, for becoming a member. And thank you for the 5 memberships. Leanne, any of you guys that want to support the channel, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Super Chat, Super Sticker. Thank you. That's how we keep things going. All right. So yeah, gross. I would definitely say that about Jenn the Potato Soto, guys. And I don't know who messaged me today, but someone said that eggs are getting so expensive for Easter that they're going to start painting potatoes for Easter and hide the potatoes. So maybe we'll see Jenn come out for Easter. Who knows? But there's no shortage of potatoes, you guys, especially rotten potatoes. All right. Good to see you, Misty Free Spirit. How you doing, my friend? Haven't seen you in a while. Mental Chugum from South Africa. Wow, good to see you. I'm glad you caught a live as well. All right, let's get into this today. How to spot fake emotions. I got a shout out again to Truth Revealed. This guy is the other, and I'm going to say the other because my guy Deception Detective is the number 1 guy. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to present this. So let's do this. I linked this, How to Spot Fake Emotions, and he calls it in Breaking News Story. Truth Revealed. Link is in the description and chat. So let's go over this. And it's a perfect time to see that Jenn had really fake emotions. She didn't do anything for her daughter, didn't hand out flyers, didn't go out, didn't do anything, just kind of sat there. Thank you, Mary, for being a member for 1 month. And happy to make a live and enjoying the show. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate you. All right, let's listen up here. All right, I just restarted my computer, so hopefully nothing like malfunctions while we're doing this. All right, good to see everybody today. Let's see how this sounds.
You've seen one of those interviews on TV where a mother gets up there, she's crying, she says her child's been abducted, and she's pleading for sympathy and for someone to bring them home. Have you ever seen that and thought,
yeah,
I wonder if she did it. I wonder if the boyfriend or the husband did it. I wonder if the child's really missing. I wonder if I should get emotionally invested into this right now. I don't want to get duped by some murder on TV. Have you ever thought, I wonder how long it takes a deception detection expert to figure out whether one of these people is making the story up? Well, I can tell you sometimes I can figure it out in 4 or 5 seconds. We're going to look at the Madeline Soto case. Specifically, we're going to look at her mother.
This is going to be interesting because so many people saw this. Now, it's in the chat, guys. Or not in the chat. It's in the description. This guy is called Truth Revealed. All right. So his link is really weird, but again, it's in the chat. Okay. So it's at Truth Revealed or at Empathy something or other. He's the other deception detective. So it's really interesting that he says that he can spot it like that, because I'm pretty sure other people could as well. And I got to tell you, Jenn Soto, guys, we were talking about Jenn Soto not going to her birthday party, Maddie's birthday party, not going to the funeral, not calling 911. What else did she not do, guys? What am I missing here? Oh, yeah. She didn't want the news station to come over there and spread the word and find Maddie. Oh, yeah, that wasn't her choice. Somebody else called because they wanted to find Maddie. All right. And yeah, absolutely, Lori. The Sutter family hated Stearns and Jenn and Maddie fighting, but they all sent Maddie back to Jenn even after Stefan left Jenn. Now, Lori, Stefan left Jenn multiple times. You gotta look at the timeline here. They broke up a lot. They were off and on quite a bit. As a matter of fact, I think they were off more than they were on. But Stefan was definitely more on with Maddie than off. All right. We'll say the abuse, the filming and the documenting abuse of Maddie was very on and very consistent and very documented, all for the police to see. All right, so let's take a look. No, didn't panic. People said, "Why is this mom even on this freaking news station? She's not panicked. She doesn't seem too worried. She's saying kind of nasty things about her daughter. What's happening here?" All right. So Foxy Amazon, thank you for the 420 membership in memory of your brother Christopher. All right, let's go.
Jennifer Soto and some of the statements that she's made. Before we look at the video, let's play a little game. It's called embodied simulation. Embodied simulation has a couple rules. Rule number 1 is called cognitive empathy. We have to employ cognitive empathy. Cognitive empathy sounds like empathy, but they're not the same thing. Cognitive empathy is when you mentally put yourself into someone else's shoes. You're going to imagine their thoughts, feelings, and experiences as if you were them. This allows you to understand the perspective of that person without feeling their emotions. If you're thinking, this is a form of empathy, why aren't we trying to feel their emotions? I'll get to that in a second. Rule number 2, we're going to activate our mirror neurons. Mirror neurons fire both when you perform an action and when you see somebody else performing that same action. This creates a sense of a shared experience in your mind. Essentially, your brain simulates the experiences in another person as if you were experiencing it yourself. Now, buckle up, because you're about to share another human being's thoughts, feelings, and experiences by firing those.
All right, so that's really awesome. He gets a lot more deep than Deception Detective. I love Deception Detective and I love his deck, and it's easy for me to follow. Now with this guy, I'm never going to learn what he's talking about. I'm probably not going to learn it. I can detach myself from Jenn Soto real easy in all of those interviews because she doesn't really have emotions. Good to see you, Anna Fleming from Florida. Good to see you. Now cognitive equals using frontal lobe. Thank you for that. The classic one. And I hope you guys go check out his channel, Truth Revealed. I don't think he's covering much more Jenn Soto, but he is covering the Karen Reed case. And this guy is covering, I think he's about to cover the Richard Allen interview. So I might see what he has to say about that. I got to tell you guys, I got to get this in real quick. I got to get my 2 cents in about the Richard Allen thing. I've always thought Richard Allen was guilty. I always thought that Richard Allen was the right man that they had. And I always think that the 130 years that they gave him is very just. But maybe when this guy comes out, I'll play one of the interviews and I'll tell you why. All right. So, Goldilocks, I see your question there. And yeah, I don't think she's really going to answer that particular question. I do believe that they're alluding to that. They're trying to allude to Stefan rolling on Jenn, but right now, Stefan's not convinced, and I don't think they want to talk much about the case. So we'll see what happens. But Frank Shaw, good to see you, my friend. Hopefully you found out about those TikTok pictures. All right. It was Ron Logan. It was not Ron Logan, Foxy Amazon. We're going to have to go to battle on that one. All right. FYU, FYII. Hey, I'm new, first time member, long time watcher. What's up? I don't know how to say your name, but good to see you. Good to see all the mods here. I think, yeah, all the mods seem to be here. Tiff, if you can drop some links for the merch, that'd be great. And let's get back to it.
Mirror neurons, but you don't want to share the emotions. Why? Because emotions will override the logic part of our brain. By putting ourselves into that other person, we're going to figure out what emotion they're supposed to be feeling. Then we're going to analyze using micro expressions, verbiage analysis, and body language what emotion they're actually feeling. Then we're going to compare them. And if the emotion that they're actually feeling is different than the emotion that they should be feeling, that's deception. That's enough talking. Let me show you this video.
By any chance, does she have a phone number, phone?
She does, but she left it at home today. I have it.
You have it.
And I've already known from her messages.
Okay, she's direct, she's engaged, she's leaning in. That doesn't really tell us anything. We are experiencing her experiences. We're living in her shoes, and we don't see anything yet up to this point. So let's continue here.
Okay. How about, does she have like Apple Watch?
She's got.
Now, I got to tell you guys before we see what she's saying, she looks worried for herself. That's my first thing, is she looks worried. But the second thing is, up until this point, the whole school was already out looking for Maddie. When I say the school, I mean children, parents, after school people. They had already, by this point in the interview that night, they had already started looking and searching and doing flyers. And she showed up to the school and said, I don't want to do any of that. You do it. And so Stephanie's the one that called 911 here. And Yolanda, that does look like fear, Anna. That looks absolutely like fear, but not for Maddie, for Jenn. There's 333 people in chat. So you guys do me a favor, say a prayer for Maddie, that she gets complete and utter justice, which means that we arrest Jenn Soto, or that I wish I could arrest her, that Jenn Soto gets arrested. All right, guys. Good to see everybody. Why do you think? Oh, yeah, that's another question, too. That's another question about Jenn Soto with the wrong clothes to the police. Was she trying to throw off the search? That was my opinion about that. I absolutely think she knew exactly what Maddie was wearing, but she didn't want them to be looking for that. So she's like, Stefan, shut up. Don't say that. She said the wrong clothes twice. So I don't know what's going through her head, but I've said that before. All right.
The only device she's got on her right now is her school laptop.
Her school laptop, is that trackable?
I
don't think so.
So that police officer asks, she's got that laptop, is that trackable? And she says, no, I don't think so. Still that same sort of directness. Let's see what happens next.
Yeah, it should be. If the Wi-Fi is turned on, it'll try to connect to any Wi-Fi. So if I like circle here.
All right, what do we see there? As she says she doesn't think so, some of the administrative staff say, no, our computers, if there's Wi-Fi, if that's turned on, that will try to connect. Okay, that's information that we need to put back into that situation of us putting ourselves in her shoes as an innocent person. Okay, so I didn't think that those computers were trackable, but I find out now they are. My daughter's missing. I'm going to be excited. Okay, good. I didn't know that.
Right?
She does have that laptop. If that's trackable, that's something we want to look into right away. Now, let's change that script here. If I was involved in my child going missing and I just found out that a laptop that I thought was not trackable is trackable, everywhere that laptop went, it was pinging a tower, a Wi-Fi signal. I'm going to panic.
Yep.
So the emotion that would go with that would be fear. Now we have a situation where an innocent person is going to be happy that that's trackable, and they're going to want that to be followed up on immediately, whereas a guilty person is going to feel fear and stress. So what we see here is she does that glance. She looks at that police officer and she has that fear, that panic in her eyes. And
you guys, I'm going to stretch this out a little bit and say, I don't even know about her being calm. I think the calm was her taking the meds that she takes just to be normal. What's up, boss? Saying, good to see you, my friend. But I think the reason she didn't, and I've said it over and over, the reason she did not call 911 and she did not want the news station at her house, she didn't even want to deal with that, guys. She did not want to deal with that. I have proof that she did not want to deal with the news station, and I know why. I know why, not only because she had something to do with it, because the news station, Fox 35, the anchor lady, in turn, contacted the police after they went and did the interview with Jenn. They said something's wrong with that mother and her boyfriend. Something's off. You need to look into her even further. And when you're getting looks like this that you're seeing with Jenn, look at that. It looks like fear for herself, not for her daughter. Then you know why she didn't call 911 and she didn't want the news station to be there, guys. Why would she? Look at her.
And she immediately starts to sway. You can feel, you know what she's thinking. Is he going to follow up on this? As she stepped back, she starts to sway. She gets that nervous energy. That is not something that you would see in an innocent person. An innocent person would start to move forward, would get more direct and aggressive. We want to follow this. That laptop, she had that laptop this morning. Let's follow up on that. So what do we learn here today? By utilizing an embodied simulation, we're going to utilize one of our tools, which is cognitive empathy, to project ourselves into that person that we're watching. In this case, it's Jennifer Soto. And we're going to make two constructs. One is a deceptive Jennifer Soto, and one is a truthful Jennifer Soto. Then we're going to wait for that question, that situation where the emotion is going to be different between the truthful and the deceptive versions of ourselves. Using those mirror neurons, we feel her stress there. We feel that fear, and we know that that fear and that stress, that only fits with the deceptive version of her. We've seen deception here. Now, does that mean that Jennifer Soto, Madeline Soto? Not necessarily, because there could be something on that laptop that she doesn't want found. It could be sexual.
I don't think there's anything on that laptop they didn't want to be found, but she didn't want them to find that the laptop was in the trash, you guys. All right. And even though they wanted to appear like a couple on camera, they didn't want the cameras to be there, guys. They didn't want there to be 5,000 flyers with everybody looking for this little girl that was wearing jeans and a green hoodie with white Crocs, supposedly, which one of the Crocs was in the trash by then and the other one in her room. They didn't want that, because then that means everything would have sped up in the way that it did. Thank you to Thomas Karras, right? Thomas Karras for calling in that and then following it up. Thank you again, Leanne, for the Guilty of Crime membership. And for those of you that rolled in, thank you for rolling in at all. You guys will have to go back and watch the very beginning of it. All right. I personally asked Shannon Butler, the main journalist, and she was very frustrated that they sent an inexperienced reporter to her. She regrets it very much, but didn't blame reporter. Interesting, Black Knight. Good to find out about that. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah. I don't think any of this was expected. I think it was very much like, let's make a decision. And let's go, because time is of an essence, right? Time is of an essence. If we don't get out there and start putting these flyers, and we don't get out there and look for this girl, we're not going to find her alive. At this point, they thought maybe now the police weren't urgent. The police were not urgent. We're not urgent because of what Jenn Soto told them, that she wanted to run away. She talked about that and all this stuff. People still thought she had taken off. She was maybe still mad about her birthday. So nobody got a sense of urgency at all on day one. All right. Thank you for becoming a member, Bree. I appreciate you. All right. I missed somebody's comment that I wanted to see about Shannon Butler. Shannon Butler thought Maddie was another runaway, but she knew after the interview something was majorly amiss. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And thank you for saying that. All right. Let's keep going, guys. And remember, thank you guys for supporting the channel, all the gifted membership, super chat, super stickers, all that. Appreciate it. All right. Sugarfoot just became a member. That's awesome. Somebody gifted that membership. What's up, Jax? Good to see you. All right. Yeah, I don't know what an innocent Jenn would look like. So yeah, I saw the oxymoron. I think the laptop would have just been found in the trash. Could you imagine if they were able to track that laptop, guys, and it pinged right into the trash can? That would have been a big, it's what happened, right? They saw Stefan throwing it away, and right there, you're caught.
abuse. It could be something that doesn't have to do necessarily with Madeline's disappearance. In the first 5 seconds of this interview, we didn't learn whether or not she committed a murder here, but we did learn a very important piece of information that we can file away. As we look at the rest of this case, this is going to become very important. Now, if you want to see the rest of my analysis on Jennifer Soto, jump over to YouTube where I do my long form videos and check out Truth Revealed over there. See you next time.
All right, so that's Truth Revealed, guys. And we did watch that video. I think they only have a couple of videos over there that we watched, part 1 and part 2. But I wanted to, we did the Jennifer Soto explaining where the body was dumped, which is, it's just, why would you call your daughter a body? I mean, she was just so separated from that. And yeah, emotions can't genuinely be fake, but sometimes they are. Sometimes they absolutely are. And I say that when I think about Richard Allen. All right, let me find that. What I had, the FDLE. I thought I wanted to share. Okay, hold on real quick. Let's get rid of this. Let's stop that. And let me get to the FDLE. There's some pretty crazy stuff on there we haven't gone over, and then we'll go over the suppression. And that will be pretty much it today. There's almost 400 people in here, guys. Hit the like button. Queen of Hearts said he probably wasted the time to wipe the laptop and do airplane mode just to drop it in the trash on video. Duh. Yeah, right? Isn't that funny? It's not funny, but it's interesting that it was found so quickly. And Stefan said himself, it's 2025. There's cameras everywhere. So go figure, right? Go figure that they were going to track him right away. All right, guys. So some of you guys might have seen the FDLE report, the lab testing after Maddie was gone from her body, and the swabs, etc. So I'm just going to show this, and then I'm going to go over some notes that I saw, and I was like, whoa. So the docket had this, and then there were some crazy notes that, again, trigger warning, guys, because some of this stuff is just trigger warning. That's all I can say. What's up, my Leo twin, Sharon Belko? Good to see you. You didn't miss anything. You just got here. You can go back and watch it. It's only like a 6-minute video. It's in the link. All right. And yeah, good to see Melanie here. Good to see Hossein here. Where has Wyatt been? Where's Wyatt been? All right. Well, let's take a look at this FDLE. If you haven't seen it, you'll see it again if you have. All right, so let me zoom in on this a bit. More paperwork. And I wonder what's going to happen. I mean, I wonder if the judge is going to grant any of these motions for suppression to bring in new evidence, guys. I have no idea what they're thinking, what they're talking about, any of that. So has anybody, you guys probably saw this on the other channels. All right. I see, I'm looking at you guys in chat, and you guys are talking about root beer barrels and all kinds of crazy stuff. All right, let's take a look at this. All right, so the FDLE, this was crazy. I'm going to just show it, and then I'll show you the notes. So this was the lab reports, subject Stefan Stearns, and the victim is Madeline Soto. Now, the FDLE is the swabs that they took, and then subject is Stefan Stearns. So they took those swabs, and that's okay. It's not one to one side. You guys are crazy. I shouldn't watch my text messages. All right, so Madeline Soto, Stefan Stearns, that's what they did. Reference report evidence submitted to Florida Department of Law Enforcement June 5th, 2024. Conclusions, opinions, interpretations, and there's a swab. All right. So, following evidence, container A submitted for YSTR DNA analysis, DNA extractions from items 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which we'll find out in a minute, and corresponding extractions. All right, so they did a buccal swab represented by Stefan Stearns. All right, and it was obtained from item 3, which I'm not sure what item 3 and item 6 is until we get down there. And of course, you can see plunder all over this, and then you're going to see docket on the other one. So thanks to them for always getting the most up-to-date information. All right. Wild Wanderer says, I've been out. My truck died walking. I'm sorry, you've been walking. All right. I keep going back to it for knowing all that I know. Yeah, we keep going back to that too, Sharon, now that we know what we know. And maybe we'll find out more even soon, huh? All right. Let's go back to this. All right, so we're looking at these specific items from Stefan, and I just missed. Okay, so I missed that. It says items 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.1, 8.2, all that. Item 3 was a buccal swab from Stefan. Item 6 was a left fingernail clipping from Madeline Soto. And as a result, they obtained that from item 6. So we've got a buccal swab from Stefan, and they're going to compare that when I believe they find DNA, Stefan's DNA all over her chest. Again, it gets graphic in the notes, so you guys, trigger warning. Now, this is Maddie's clipping from her nails. And then we got item 10, which is a left-hand swab for Maddie. And it says, due to limited nature, results obtained from item 10, the data is not interpretable. So we don't know whose DNA was under her nails, what she did. Was Maddie scratching at herself on her neck? You know, that happens when you are strangled. And I'm going to go back to someone's comment earlier that said, when somebody dies of a homicide, you guys, they should not, and thank you, Kylie Cosmos, they should not be able to cremate a person. All right. They should not. When there's a homicide, it's a suspected homicide or a suspected crime, the police should have never let Jenn say, go cremate Maddie. It's just so bad. It's so bad that they did that. Heidi says Jenn's gross. She's like, Stefan Stern seemed dirty, and they're both sleeping all day like people do when they're coming down. And that was every day, Heidi. That was an everyday thing. It's like up and down, because that's what addicts do, right? Gina F says, I bet she was fighting with Jenn. And that's really interesting because they didn't get those fingernail swabs. They didn't get to get anything, but Jenn was in that house all the time. So if there were DNA, it's easy to refute that evidence because of that. Yeah, Kaimani was cremated too. We're going to talk about Kaimani tomorrow and how the family is grossly been fighting over Kaimani's body. And it's a big money grab, in my opinion. And again, say a prayer for Kaimani and Naziah. And I got to put Maddie in that category too. Because Maddie, it was so normalized with the abuse that was happening to her. Now, the coroner released her body for cremation, but they shouldn't have. They can never go back and check something that they missed, just like the house with the Idaho 4, how they demolished it. They can't go back to it now. So it doesn't matter if the coroner released it. I think there should be a law that says when a person, it's suspected homicide that took their life, they should not be able to just cremate them right away. That is one law that I think should change. All right. Like Tammy Daybell, Synth, you're absolutely right. Good thing the Mormon religion and Chad Daybell didn't believe in cremation, right? I think they should keep it until they get everything they need. I don't think it should be a time. I don't think they should have a time because it's so written in that rule of books for people, criminals, that you commit a crime and you get them cremated right away, and then all this happens, right? Yeah, there should be a hold till there's a resolution. I agree. All right, let's keep going. Microwave Cheese, good to see you, my friend. All right, so yeah, the saliva, I believe it's saliva, guys, a buccal swab. So if you guys are talking in chat about the buccal swab, that's something they put in their mouth and they check for, so they do a saliva test. It's not like they pulled a strand of hair from Stefan, it was his saliva. All right, so there it is there. I didn't even get to that. You can see item 13, they did a breast swab from Maddie. All right, and that's number 13 is Maddie's chest or breast area, and complete STR DNA profile was obtained from her breast area, and they found Stefan Stern's profile from that area. So from her chest. Now that shouldn't be there, guys. There should not be Stefan Stern's saliva on Maddie's breast area or chest. All right. You guys should be infuriated. We should be infuriated to hear that Stefan Stern's saliva is anywhere near anybody's young daughter's chest. All right. So according to this report, the profile of 0 of 29,207 total and 95% upper bound confidence interval equivalent. This, gibberish science stuff, gibberish science, and saying Stefan's saliva was on Maddie's breast area. All right. And one of every 4,416 male individuals. Right. And then we got some remarks here. Let me come back and take a look at chat. So, yeah, exactly. And what's even worse is Jenn Soto, in my opinion, was letting that happen, guys. All right. Letting that happen. So good to see you guys. There was 420 something people. There's 400 now. If you guys come in and then leave, just hit the like button if you could. All right. Hit the like button. Yeah, it is gross, but you guys knew that was happening because the abuse that was happening, and that I agree with. Cremation is a red flag in itself. All right. No, they didn't say that, but I'm gonna get into that. Yeah, next I'll get into that. All right. So, okay. So their remarks was the DNA analysis on samples 3, 6, 10, and 13, utilizing this system. No testing was performed on the remaining DNA extractions. The values calculating suggest a scientific working group. This is all nothing that I can really explain, but I will in a second. Same lineage can be expected from this profile. DNA extracts are being returned. It recommends DNA extracts stored according to labeling, yada, yada, yada. This is all their stuff, which I didn't even realize this was only the 2 pages. All right, I'm going to pull this down and bring up my notes. All right, let's remove this, pull this down, and let me find those notes. Again, trigger warning, because these are the notes. I'm not sure who took these notes. Someone messaged me, and it's got laboratory submissions, and then it talks about blood inside an anal cavity, the girly part area, and then the autopsy, guys. So again, trigger warning for you guys there, because just trigger warning for the language that it says, etc. All right, I need to there it is. Okay, so I saw somebody message me this. I don't know who wrote those notes, but you can see the docket on there. All right, so thank you, Leanne Wilson, for the $5 pounds. If a person has red rum somebody, leave the body alone for at least a year. Why was Maddie cremated, and who asked for it? Well, the only person that could ask for it, guys, is Jennifer Soto. Jennifer Soto is Maddie's mom, right? She made the decision, and then she gave half of the ashes to Tyler. All right. So the only person could have been Jenn Soto. All right. Yeah, the potato. Right? Are you guys seeing this? So the laboratory submissions and March 13, 2024, we can see some of this stuff in the FDE analysis, item number, description, a DNA card for Malin Soda, biology. And then if you look below on the left-hand swab of Maddie, rectal swab, vaginal swab, breast swab, oral swab, it says there, object was used, no oral. Blood inside, anal cavity, vaginal, autopsy, tears. You see that? No, they do cremations if someone wants them to. All right. Thank you, Clar. I appreciate you. Good to see you. Can you guys see this stuff? I don't know if they're saying tears in that. They're just saying in general. They wrote down tears, but it looks like they're saying there was an object used and there was blood in that area. So what they're saying on this is that maybe Maddie in that area, guys, there's torn things in that area to cause blood in that area. Now, blood in that area, guys, could also mean, and again, trigger warning, it could just mean that she had her period, which we now know, and it's not a fact, it's in my opinion. Yeah, it's tears, like it's tears, not tears. It's tears, guys. I looked at it and said tears, but it's a tear. I got it. It's tears, like an anal tear or a rupture when you're like when when you have tearing from an object. An object was used. There's a tear. There's blood in that anal cavity that they saw when they were doing that. But a lot of things that I can tell you, yeah, exactly. I told you guys trigger warning, all right? And there probably was tearing, and also this is the second time I've seen this about the blood down in that region. I do think that that Maddie had started her period and that was part of it. Okay. Yeah, it is. It is stoic dissension. It's awful disgusting, but I knew that was horrible information coming eventually to make it easier to hear. It's effed up. Yeah, we've talked about this before. And I've hesitated to go over this stuff. I've been pushing this off. This has been out for quite some time. Docket did it on his channel. Other people have done it on theirs, and I really hate doing this stuff. All right? I really hate doing this stuff a lot. But you imagine if someone's filming, all right? Imagine filming lots of CSAM, 35,000 or 100 and whatever, 135,000 and 1,700 of just Maddie. Imagine that there were probably were SEX toys, and we saw that there was a giant bottle of lube, so something went with that lube, right? Yeah, this is hard to hear. Again, trigger warning, guys. A trigger warning. I mean, these are the things that happened to Madeline Soto. Pico swap, we get epithelial skin cells, and the DNA would show up in saliva or semen. All right. Thank you, Florida girl. I appreciate you. Sunshine, good to see you. New subscriber from Scotland. Love your channel and your dissection of the Soto case. Keep up the great work. Getting the true justice for Maddie. Thank you. I appreciate you. There's 420 people in here, guys. Say a prayer for Maddie. It might not be a triple digit, but still, we need to say a prayer for Maddie. Fissures is what they call it. Yeah, but I think there probably were tears. All right, there probably were tears and rips in that area from the abuse from all the years. Imagine that, guys, and imagine a little girl that shouldn't have any of those things in that area. Okay, all right, let's keep going. So you guys see that? That's pretty rough right there. It's definitely rough. I don't like any of that. All right, let me see if I gotta pull down or go to page 2. All right, next one. Hold on. All right, here's the next one, y'all. This one is, and again, you might have seen this somewhere. You might have seen this somewhere in item 10, left-hand swabs represented. And it's because we're going over the FDLE stuff that I wanted to go over this now. I don't know. I don't really like going over this stuff at all. But it's something that we have to do. And that's it. Maddie had one for constipation in the autopsy report. We knew that she was constipated. Jenn told us, and I wonder if there was a specific reason why Jenn talked about the constipation. I wonder if she knew that they were going to see this stuff, right? They were going to see these tears and these things and what was happening to her body. All right. Yeah, we know about the constipation for sure. All right. So, item 10 was her left-hand swabs, and it was from Maddie. They had that blocked out due to limited. We just went over this. Item 13 were the breast swabs, and the notes say not enough data for the material, which we just went over, except for the one from Stephen Stearns, which was on her breast area. All right, so let's go to the next one. That one wasn't really much of anything. I'm just kind of going over notes that I have not presented yet. All right. Just to make some sense out of this stuff. I should have made this all into one file so I can just switch back and forth. All right. So here's another one. Container A with the STYR DNA analysis, DNA extracts we went over. Item 6 left fingernail clipping represented from Maddie. buccal swab was from Stearns, and then this one says no DNA from Stearns. That's interesting. That was the one that in the left fingernail, and I think this was unidentified, which could be anything, right? It could be anything when it's unidentified. Maddie could have been doing something that day. She could have been doing something the day before, the night before. All right, let's go to number 4. I don't even know if I put that one up. All right, window. All right, did I get that one? Okay, so then case supplemental. Let's take a look at this one. The information below is confidential. This is this one I don't see much in. It's just about retrieved and submitted to Kissimmee, and they've got a trash bag, white right foot crock. Oh, that one's okay. So that one's the some of the items in the case supplemental, and there's that crock and there's the tire. I don't know why this one was in the notes, but we're gonna keep going. All right, what's up, Millie? Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, a lot of people would. And there's that crock, guys. There's the crock and some of the items that they took from the home. Remember, the other crock was in the trash can. I'm going to say that the left crock was probably in the trash can and the right crock was was in Jen's room. So I'm going to say they probably matched the sizes. And if I'm missing you guys as I'm coming in, as you're coming in, I'm reading. So hello to everybody. Do me a favor, hit the like button, you guys. If you haven't, if you're new, subscribe and hit the notification bell. This has nothing, this doesn't say anything about Jenn Soto's DNA. Remember, they're not looking at her, as far as we know, as a suspect. All right. So they're not looking at her as a suspect at all at this point. All right. Number 5, page 5. Let's see what else oh, yeah. Okay. Here's the continuation of the page. And this is the stuff I've been wanting to go over with you guys for a while and get it out of my way. Oh wow, thank you, Joyous N, for the 10 guilty of crime memberships. You guys say thank you to Joyous for the 10 guilty of crime memberships. Appreciate you. All right, sorry you're exhausted there, Sadie's mama. Oh, I just pulled that down. My bad. Hold on. Share screen. Let's get back to that. Oops. I messed that one up. I was trying to clean up my my window area and I accidentally pulled that down. Okay. All right, guys. So there's the rest of it retrieved and submitted to Kissimmee. There's the evidence. I see the trash bag. I see the crock, and then underneath we got the tire, backpack containing miscellaneous things, all covered in. Okay, so this must have been the trash can. So here we go. We got the right crock in the trash can, and I'm gonna guess, if I had a picture, that the left crock was in Maddie's or Jen's room. All right, and then thank you, Jennergy, for the $2.99 super sticker. I see a little troll doll there, and I'll raise you a troll doll for that super sticker. And I'll show you another troll doll that we have to match your little troll doll down there. All right, so that was in the trash can. They saw him throwing that away right away. OCSP laptop and charger, believed to be Maddie. So I bet you they went and charged that thing and fired it up to see what was on there. All right, Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Orange County Police Forensics processed the following items under the case number. We have some more things. These are the swabs of straps of the backpack collected. Swabs of the wearer, DNA from inside or the insole of the right crock collected. I hope they got that left crock. Swabs of the zipper tags of the backpack collected, and then handles of the backpack. I don't see anything anywhere, guys, that says Jenn Soto thus far. So yeah, there's nothing that the police are releasing that says anything. Yeah, I got bombarded with troll dolls from Foxy and little potatoes, by the way. All right, so all right, let's keep going. Remove that, and then we'll go into that supplemental report next, just to go over it and see what the heck they're saying. All right, so this was the rest of the page. I traveled to District 9, medical examiner. Okay, this is just part of the autopsy page, but it doesn't show much. All right, let me show that last page there. I really wanted to go over the FDLE just to document it. Good to see everybody here. Today is a lot more low key than yesterday, thank God, but we do want justice for Maddie. And again, at the beginning of the show, I was on the phone with somebody, and I can't say who. Now they wanted to go to the police. You guys know this. That person that I just got off the phone with is from the Soto side. Okay, so there's the Wallace side, there's the Soto side, there's the Stern side. They're from the Soto side that we haven't heard much about. And those people were at Maddie's private funeral. They also were there near the school. They helped pass out those 5,000 flyers. They were in touch with, and they have text messages with Jenn Soto. And I got to tell you, Jenn Soto didn't care to talk to the news, call 911, or even hear updates from that person, guys. Jenn said to them, I don't want to hear anything about Maddie. You can just contact Stephanie, which I imagine everybody was contacting Stephanie. So I don't know why Stephanie was the point of contact instead of Jenn Soto, which is her mother, right? Cher Belko, thank you for being a member for 10 months. Jay, I love everything about this amazing family I found. Always here to support your channel, your dream, and beautiful you. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. Yeah. The Soto family silence speaks volumes, but it's interesting when somebody from the Soto side speaks out and wants to talk to the cops, but doesn't want to get their name involved in depositions and then go against the family. How do you do that? How do you do that? I don't know. I don't know how you do that. All right. So that's the last page I have. Autopsy. Thursday, March 8th, 2024. Travel to District 9 medical examiners and signed for and received the following items. Photographed and submitted 32 photographs of package evidence utilizing camera. Okay, so this has got to be, there's a DNA card on there, but I'm imagining the 32 photos along with the autopsy. These are things that are going to probably come out in court. All right. Deb's 1313, I think Jenn red rummed Maddie and was taking the pics and selling them. Stefan was her cleanup crew, but didn't make it to Alligator Pond. She told him to dump her and she made him leave his phone. I believe he definitely left his phone on purpose, and they did that whole deal not to get tracked. Absolutely. Good to see you, Indiation. Veronica, thanks for the like button. They are going to keep texting me. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get all the text messages between them and Jenn Soto and all the correspondences between them and the news stations, etc. All right, guys. So yeah, it's crazy. I mean, people don't want to yeah, I think that too. I've been saying that Jenn's a puppet master, and when you know more about the dynamics of Jenn and Stefan, it's almost hard to refute that. It's almost hard to refute that. How did the dynamics all of a sudden change that day? Do you think that they automatically changed that day? I mean, how'd that happen? All right, let me I want to pull up that motion, or maybe I'll just do it here. Hold on. Let me do this. I don't know what happened there. All right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna share this so you guys can remember to go over to Justice for Madeline Soto. Are you guys all signed up on the Justice for Madeline Soto page that has 12,000 members in private? All right. You think they could do it anonymously? What are you talking about? They can't do it anonymously because the officers are going to want to take statements, and then if they have to do depositions and things, guys, that person will be involved, and they're in the Soto family. So I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh man, you guys are funny. All right, let me get to that. The suppression. Of course, this made it. You guys go to the Facebook group Justice for Madeline Soto. There's 12,000 members. It's a private group, so you gotta join it. And there's some happy stuff there. There's the locks of love. There's some new locks there. From I can't read that. Lays, I don't know what that says. Missouri. All right. Beautiful. They're still doing that out there. That's awesome. They got the bench. Now we're going to get to we're going to do this. Someone sent that to me, by the way. Thank you guys for sending the documents for the case number and the motion for suppression. Now, let me just explain this real quick. The short of it, Stephen Stearns claims. Now, listen, this could be good news, guys. Stephen Stearns' defense team claims that they have new evidence in the trial, so it is going to delay the trial, but we knew that they were going to delay the trial again and again, right? So in this new suppression, the new evidence may impact the presentation of the evidence, which is to help suppress the evidence of his phone being used at trial. Now, we don't know what's in it. I'm wondering how big of a deal it is, or is it just them needing more time to develop their new evidence and the story? So the delay is requesting suppression motion hearing. If granted, it will push the trial back, which is going to happen. Someone says it's a stall tactic. He knows it's not going anywhere, which we don't know that. We really don't know that. So let me zoom in on this. It doesn't let me zoom in, does it? Doesn't really let me zoom in. There it is. All right. All right, so that's as much as I can zoom in, but let me I don't know if any of you guys saw this. Anybody see this? I honestly believe and have hope that in time the baked potato. Well, that's what we're here for, Teresa, right? We want Jenn Soto to be arrested too. Right? I mean, I don't think Jenn Soto is going to walk away from this unscathed at all. All right, let's take a look. We're just going to look at the motion for suppression, make it a little bit bigger in case you guys haven't seen it. Grace, good to see you. I want to say that Maddie long sleeve shirt, so beautiful. Love the picture, Maddie. Thank you. Thank you to Tiff, who does our merch, which we can't sell, so we gave it away yesterday. Now, Indy, that's what I'm saying. It could be something. Indy says they could have found a connection with the big CSAM case. No, it's that I don't think. That I don't think. And I'll tell you why. This is from the defense. Let's look at it. This is from the defense. So this is the state of Florida, which is the plaintiff, right? Prosecution versus Stephen Michael Stearns defendant. And this motion to continue suppression hearing from the defense. This is not from the prosecution saying, hey, we found something that we want to tie to these pictures. This is the defense. Come now, the defendant, Stephen Michael Stearns, by and undersigned, yada, yada, blah, 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 right? Legal jargon. This says the defense motion to suppress the hearings, guys. So today is 4/15. There's a hearing coming up on 4/23. That's 8 days from now, 2 p.m. Central or Eastern Standard Time. All right. The pretrial conference is to be heard at the same time, scheduled motion. So if you guys are excited for the hearings to be coming up on 4/23 and a pretrial, you guys should think again. The pretrial conference is to be heard at the same time as the motions to suppress. The defendant has been charged with 60 counts of various allegations, including, I'm going to just say CSAM because all that stuff in there, it calls it child PORN. That's what we call CSAM. Number 4, a conviction of any of the above counts may also serve as an aggravator in the defendant's other open case where the state seeking the death penalty, as evidenced by state's notice, intent to seek death penalty. All right, number 5, apparent centerpiece of the prosecution stems from the media obtained through a search of the phone attributed to the defendant. On February 6, 2025, defense filed 3 suppression motions challenging the exact evidence from the cell phone, guys. We're still talking about the cell phone evidence when Stephen Stearns handed his cell phone to the officer, and he's like, oh, can I get that back? No, we're going to take that. You can use Jenn's phone. That's what we're talking about. All right. Since filing that motion, the defense has come to in the possession of confidential. All right, so this is it. This one right here. Since the motion was filed, the defense, which is Stephen Stearns' team, has come in possession of confidential information that may impact the presentation of the evidence at the hearing. Does that make sense to you guys? All right. So they are saying that they have more evidence that will impact that hearing and impact them coming to bring that evidence forward. They don't want the evidence from the cell phone coming forward. Is it a stall tactic, or do they really have something? I always laugh at that. Sherlock Homegirl. What's up? I love your name. It's funny. One love. Smash that like. All right. Let me look at this one. All right. So number 4, a conviction on any above counts may also serve as an aggravating fact. Okay. So we got that. Number 8, the defense will not have time to develop this evidence before currently scheduled motion to suppress on April 23rd. So 8 days from now, the defense doesn't have enough time to go over the evidence that they want to bring about the cell phone, so they want to delay it. As such, defense is requesting to continue these hearings to reset for later date. They do not want a judgment right now on those cell phone evidence. The motion's filed good faith. The state objects to the motion to continue. Of course. So the state doesn't want to continue. The state wants to go forward with this and get that evidence going. All right. What's this? Is this the same thing that they just did? State of Florida, case number division. Let me look. Why did they show that twice? Division 12. Yeah, same thing. I don't know why they did this twice, but it's just going around and around. Okay. So yeah, that's it, guys. They just want to delay this thing. All right. They want to delay this. JPL says today is SA Abuse Victims Day. God bless those who have been victimized and have survived to be stronger. All right. Thank you for that, JPL. Good to see you guys always. And I missed this one, so let me thank the Off-White Lotus. Thank you so much for the $9.99 super sticker. I do appreciate that. Let's get this. Let's back out of this, and let me just see if there's anything else I wanted to show you. If not, today is really, I want to give you guys more information, but I can't right now about the person that called and wants to talk about what Jenn Soto didn't do. I can't really give more information until I find out, guys. So, okay, so this is it right here. We want to take a look at this together. Hold on. They're going to make me do that. Hold on. I do not like these. No, I just messed it up. All right. 2 objects. Why do they do that? 2 objects that are the same. All right, let's listen to this guy say it. Let me stop sharing this. I'm going to pull this up real quick. And then, yeah, I just can't tell you guys yet. I can't tell you yet. A lot of people come to me and say, I want to tell you stuff, but you can't say. And I'm like, so I got to hold this all in. I'm the one that has to hold it all in, guys. All right, you're going to go do the rewatch, huh? Okay. All right, let me play this real quick for you and see if there's anything about this that we should know. Play. Why don't I ever know how to use TikTok, guys?
Good morning, everyone.
All right.
Hey guys, so we have some new documents in the Madeline Soto Stephen Stearns case, and it is the state's response to the defendant's motions to suppress.
Oh, there
If
it
you
is.
guys have
State's
been following
response.
this case here on my page with me, you would know that Stephen Stearns' defense team has filed motions to get rid of evidence in this case against him, specifically when it comes to the SA charges that he is facing. The defense is claiming that there was an unlawful seizure of Stephen Stearns' phone, an unlawful search of Stephen Stearns' phone, and an unlawful search of Google searches from Stephen Stearns. Let's read the documents and see what the state has to say about this. This first document is the state's response to the defendant's motion to suppress evidence obtained from the unlawful seizure of Stephen Stearns' cell phone. The first few pages of this specific document are the facts of the case, all of which we have gone over in great detail and already know. The state did make it clear that Stephen Stearns, when he was being questioned, was not in handcuffs and he was free to leave throughout all of the interviews that were conducted right when Madeline Soto was first reported missing. At approximately 7:37 p.m. on February 27th, 2024, after Stephen Stearns had relayed all of his information and statements to the detectives, Detective Tagler asked, quote, "Do you mind if I look at your maps real quick?" Stephen Stearns responds, "Yeah, that's fine." The detective responds back with, "Thanks." Stephen Stearns, the defendant, unlocked his cell phone and handed it to Detective Tagler. Detective Tagler asked, "Do you mind if I just take a picture of your history?" Stephen Stearns again said, "Yeah, that's fine." After more questioning and conversing, Detective Tagler asked, "Is it okay if I go in your settings real quick? I just want to see if you're logged onto your Google." Stephen Stearns responds back, "I am not logged onto my Google with that phone, actually." Detective Tagler says, "Is it okay if I check?" Stephen Stearns says, "Yeah." At 7:53 p.m., Detective Tagler handed the defendant, Stephen Stearns, his phone back. And then at 7:57 p.m., a few minutes later, Detective Tagler asks if he can unlock the phone one more time. Stephen Stearns says, "Sure." That's when the whole conversation is had about how Stephen Stearns' phone was empty. He claims that it's a newer phone and that he factory reset it on accident. It was at approximately 7:59 p.m. when Detective Tagler advised Stephen Stearns that law enforcement was going to hold onto his phone. He was told that he would receive it back, quote, "when we are done." It was at this point that the defendant's phone was seized by law enforcement pursuant to this investigation. The next day, on February 28 at approximately 12:16 a.m., Detective Tagler conducted a second interview with Stephen Stearns. Detective Tagler during this interview says, "We would like to download your phone, right?" Stephen says, "Okay." Detective Tagler asks, "Is this something that I have your consent to do, or do I need to get a search warrant for your phone?" Stephen Stearns says, "It should be fine." Detective Tagler asks again, "You're okay with us going through your phone?" And Stephen says, "Yeah." Stephen even gives the detective the pin to his phone. So
See?
again, the defense is reiterating the fact that Stephen was not in custody or in handcuffs at the time of.
See, and that's what really gets me here is hearing this and then hearing another perspective on it from people on the defense side saying, no, he didn't. But we heard it so many different times. I mean, there was 3 different times at least that they asked to check a map, to check let me see what you got going. Did you download that back? And yes, I did. And giving the pin. If you giving a pin and handing your phone over doesn't constitute you saying yes, that's weird. 7 times consented. Yeah, one love. It's like Richard Allen confessing over 60 times, right? And saying he's not innocent. I had to throw that one in there. Jay, just occurred. Have they done DNA on Jenn Soto? I have not seen anything. If you guys have seen anything with Jenn Soto's name on it, then you let me know. I haven't seen any paperwork where they're looking into Jenn Soto at all. All right. They're going to let his phone not be in court. Interesting. That's interesting. Or with the pin 810. Well, giving the pin, you would think. Just giving a pin, you'd think, hey, you gave him consent.
Of his interview, he gave consent for Detective Tagler to look at different things on his phone and even gave her the cell phone password to get into the phone. At no point did Stephen Stearns attempt to withdraw the consent that he had given Detective Tagler. Later on during the interview, the defendant unlocked the phone a second time. This interaction between Detective Tagler and Stephen Stearns was consensual, and any information that Detective Tagler observed during this interaction was lawfully obtained. The state then provides an example of how the seizure of Stephen Stern's cell phone was needed, and they also go as far as saying that probable cause was made in order to seize his cell phone. The state says that Detective Tagler and members of law enforcement had probable cause to believe that there was evidence of a crime contained in Stephen Stern's phone at the time of the seizure. At the time of the seizure, the following information was known to law enforcement. 1, Madeline was 13 years old and had been missing for over 24 hours. 2, the defendant was consistently identified as the last person to have seen her prior to her disappearance. 3, law enforcement had tag reader evidence that the defendant was not being truthful with regard to his movements on February 26, 2024. 4, Madeline never arrived to school on February 26, 2024. 5, the defendant factory reset his phone on February 26, 2024. 6, the defendant was alone with Madeline in a bedroom the night prior to her disappearance. 7, the defendant regularly utilized his cell phone to speak with Madeline. 8, the defendant, when confronted with inconsistencies which evolved in his statements, began adding additional explanations. 9, the defendant had his cell phone with him during a portion of the day on February 26, 2024. 10, the defendant regularly used the location data and internet on his phone. And 11, the defendant's phone was attached to the defendant's Google account, even though the defendant denied being logged in. Collectively, these circumstances gave law enforcement probable cause to believe that the defendant had committed a crime against Madeline Soto and that the evidence of the crime would be found in Stephen Stern's cell phone. The state is also arguing that there are exigent circumstances here in the seizure of his cell phone, which basically means that they felt like they needed to get information out of Stephen Stern's phone as soon as they could in order to protect the integrity.
Well, remember, Maddie was missing at this point. She had been missing, and they saw the cameras of him dumping things. And when this is done, Foxy has a couple of Foxy baubles to give out. So if you guys want to stay here, I can just do a quick drawing for a couple of the baubles, and we'll sort out all the other stuff you guys got going on there in chat. I'm not going to sort it out right now while we're doing this, right? So let's finish this one, and then we'll get to that.
Of this case, as well as to ensure that the things that were on Stephen Stern's phone could be retrievable and not be deleted or destroyed. So essentially, they felt like they needed to act right away. And again, they did have probable cause in order to do so, along with Stephen Stern's verbal consent allowing this to take place. The state basically says the same thing when it comes to their response to the defendant's motion to suppress evidence obtained from the unlawful searches of Stephen Stern's cell phone. Just like they did in the first document, they list these statements of facts, which is pretty much the same thing that we just went over in that previous document. The state says that Stephen Stearns gave consent to law enforcement to download and go through his cell phone during the second interview that he gave on February 28th, 2024 at approximately 12:17 a.m. outside of Jenn Soto's residence. The state says a reasonable person would understand that giving law enforcement consent to download the cell phone and to go through the phone would allow law enforcement access to the contents of the cell phone in its entirety, which again, Stephen Stearns did consent to. The state is saying that if Stephen Stearns didn't know what he actually consented to, that's not their problem. They still got his consent. And in conclusion, searched his phone on February 27th and 28th, 2024, pursuant to his voluntarily consent. Therefore, the defendant's motion seeking to suppress evidence recovered from the searches of his cell phone should be denied. And the state argues again regarding the defendant's motion to suppress evidence obtained from Google search warrants. Again, they go through the statement of facts just like we saw in the previous two documents. The facts are the same as the facts that were presented in the first document and the same.
This is Matt Thibodeau, guys. Matt Thibodeau. He's like the only one that's credible on TikTok reporting on this stuff. So Matt Thibodeau has a connection with, he's like one of the only people that they put on the Justice for Madeline page. So he'll give you updates. I'm not a TikTok person, but I was just on Justice for Madeline page, and he's going over what I just went over. It's almost done here, but he's talking about the motion to suppress, what happened, and then what the defense did. It's, yeah, if you're not a TikTok person, you're probably not going to follow this. You can see it at the bottom of the page, Matt Thibodeau, or however you say that, guys. I have a lot of people asking that today, but I have it real big down there. I don't know if you guys can see it now. I don't typically go on TikTok, but this guy's credible, and they put him on justice for Maddie. So there you go. All right. Let's finish this up. We're almost done.
Same as the second document. But in this document, we find out that after Stephen Stern's phone was taken in, it was brought to the Orange County Sheriff's Office and submitted to the Digital Forensics Unit. A cell phone extraction was completed and the content was reviewed by detectives pursuant to the defendant's consent. And obviously, we all know what was found on his phone after that extraction was completed. After this, on February 28, 2024, Orange County Sheriff's Office Detective Taylor Heller authored an affidavit for search warrant for information contained within the defendant's Google account, which again, the state had found probable cause to do. So in conclusion, law enforcement drafted an affidavit for search warrant for the defendant's Google account information that sufficiently sent forth probable cause for the search of his Google search history and his Google account. Therefore, the defendant's motion seeking to suppress the evidence obtained from the Google search warrant should be denied. The state is asking that all of the defense's requests to have evidence taken off the table here be denied, and I can't agree with them more. Ultimately, Stephen Stearns did consent to the seizure and search of his phone. He just never realized that they were going to be able to extract the data that they were able to extract and have the evidence.
And that's the exact same, exact. Thank you, Matt, for that. That is my exact thoughts. Jenn Soto and Stephen Stearns sat down at that desk that morning, had a chat, deleted it twice, did a hard reset, and had no idea that that information was going to come up. All right. Then didn't even think for a minute. They're like, it's pretty good. Especially Jenn. Give him your phone. She said, give him your phone. You don't want to look guilty. Just give it to him. All right. All right.
It's against him that they were able to collect.
Yep. That's it. Bam. All right. So that was that. Let's do this real quick. Knock this out. Thank you, Foxy. And this is all through Foxy. It's guilty of prizes at gmail.com. So let's go ahead and give away 2 of those Foxy baubles, and then we're out. You guys have to hit the like button to even be considered. So hit that like button. I'll give you a second. It's going to sort your name. If you don't do anything and you're not commenting and you're not hitting like, you're not doing anything, you're not going to be in the drawing. All right. So there we go. I'm going to hit start. All right. There we go. And then you guys look, now that we're doing this, we won't ever, let's not do it during the show. All right. Miss Odin. I know Miss Odin is around here. I see Miss Odin quite a bit. Yeah, Tammy, it's all good. It's all good about Turtle Island. Turtle Island has those few people left that are always there. They're always there. Those Turtle Island folks, it's like, what is it, Cluminati and all these other people. They're all, they're all voting, and we're not in the cool group. All right. Where is Miss Odin? Where's Miss Odin? What's up? Is Miss Odin here? Are we ready to go to the next one? All right, Miss Odin, you won that first Foxy Bauble, guilty of prizes at gmail.com. All right. So message Foxy. There's the first one. Hashtag arrest Jenn Soto. Yes, please. All right, let's go. Let's do the next one, guys. The next and last one. All right. And then we're out of here. Tomorrow I will again, you guys, I'll give you a second to hit the like button. And then I'll press start. Tomorrow I am covering part 2 of many episodes of Kaimani Latig. You guys, there's a lot of information that you don't know. You're going to want to know this tomorrow. Okay. I did speak with her neighbor. I wasn't able to film her, but I have some more answers for you, and she didn't want to be on camera. So anyway, I have stuff that you guys don't know about the Kaimani Latig case for tomorrow. All right. Then I'm here Thursday, and then I'm off for a whole bunch of days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I'll be back next Wednesday. All right. Let's go. All right. Countdown, guys. Next person, Foxy guilty of prizes at gmail.com. Bye, Millie. Good to see you. You're welcome. All right. Alana Denise. Is Alana Denise here? That's the Foxy Box, Foxy Bobble, number 2. Yeah, Michelle, arrest Jenn Soto now. We want her to be arrested, right? Yeah, happy Easter, guys. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to be off for Easter, hanging out with the family. I'm going to try to stay off social media. All right, Alana, or however you say that, thank you for being here. You're here. Guilty of prizes at gmail.com, and that will get you a Foxy Box, Foxy Bobble. All right. So let's stop that. Congratulations to the winners today. Thank you guys for being here. You guys both won. You said, where do I go? It's called Guilty of Prizes at gmail.com, ladies. All right. It's right there. I'll give you a minute there. You guys do me a favor. Hit the like button. If you're new here, make sure you hit the notification so that you don't miss any of my live streams. And then tomorrow we've got Kaimani Lateeg. You're going to hear some new information about that case that I probably bet you haven't heard. Don't know what's coming up Thursday, and then I'll be back next Wednesday. So if I don't see a lot of you guys, happy Easter to you guys. I'll be here for a couple more days this week, and then I'm out of here. I always want to let you guys know because I get a ton of messages asking me if I'm okay and what's going on. And yes, I'm always okay. All right. I'm always okay. If I'm not, I'll let you guys know. Yeah, I think that's funny too. Guilty of prizes, right? Thank you, Synth, for the 1 Guilty of Crime membership. I hope that somebody that wants it got it. Yeah, happy Easter to those of you that I don't see. I'll be here for a couple more days this week, and then I'm out. All right, guys, hit the like button on your way out and share this video. Love you guys, and good night.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?